Hello and welcome to another episode of Metal Effort. My name's Nehemiah, and today we're going to do just kind of a one-off look at this custom CKF Terra. I've already got two videos on a different Terra earlier on my channel. This is just kind of a comparison video, what's better, what's worse. This won't be a full review, I'm not doing the dent. We'll just do it in two simple categories, what's better about this knife and what's worse. And then kind of my conclusion on custom knives like this, because I think I have cemented kind of, at least for the foreseeable future, opinion on custom knives. So in the better camp, I can actually front flip this knife, and I want to do this first thing. I forgot to do it last time. So the cool thing about this is this finish, which is gorgeous, IMO. It's a lot more textile, kind of, you can feel it, it's more texture. The jimping actually jimps, and so even though I'm a little sweaty, I can open the knife no problem with that front flipper. So that's great, because I was pretty much incapable of doing it, save for maybe 10-20% of the time. This one has enough traction on there, I could do it pretty much every time. I also have this like gnarly callus right there. That's when you know you own a few front flipper knives. That's a badge of honor. Next thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's no fingerprints that you could see on this knife. This finish is machined in. I think what I want to do is just zoom in here so you can kind of get a good look at this. But it's pretty like detailed, and it does provide a lot of texture in the touch, even on the blade. It's definitely raised a little bit. I don't think it would affect cutting too much, but it feels great in the hand, and I like the texture that it gives you. It's a little bit more secure, I would say, in your hand than the just vanilla Damascus would be. So that's a plus. I definitely like that. The next thing I really like that's quite a bit better is, obviously with a special finish put on there, the billboarding is gone. So you don't have CKF, you don't have SNEC on there anymore. And you know, that being on there just visually doesn't bother me that much, but it kind of had this like sticky texture to it, made it feel like the knife was dirty or something, and that's gone. So I have a uniform kind of feel to the knife, even all the way onto the blade, which is kind of unique. And so that's good. That's definitely an improvement from the normal vanilla Terras. Next thing is the scratching. Now, I don't think I've actually scratched this yet, but given this finish and just how busy it is, the fact that it's raised, it's not polished really all that much, this is going to hide a lot of wear and tear. The snail trails might disappear a little bit. I think maybe if you get really close, you might be able to see them in the future, especially on the clip, just because the clip is just like vanilla titanium. Again, they did give me two clips. One of them does have more of a gray finish, kind of like the backspacer here, where the bonus clip that they gave me is just vanilla. So I put the vanilla one on there because if I do want to use this knife, that I'll be beating up the lame-o clip, and then if I want to pretty it up, I can always put the nice one back on, which is kind of cool. Same with the pivot. The pivot, I think, will take the same beating that my last one did, just being in the pocket, but I got a second pair, so I'm not too worried about it. On the worst side, the blade is probably the dullest blade of any knife I have. I can probably guess what happened. You know, whoever did all the work on the body and the blade with the CNC work, I'm assuming, did this. But they probably didn't want to sharpen the blade and then put it in the machine. They had to put it in the machine first. And they're like, hey, sharpener guy, you want to make sure this is sharp? And he's like, sure. And he was very careful, didn't do a really good job because he didn't want to risk, like, damaging the blade. It's what I'm guessing. I don't know. That's just kind of how the drama folded out in my mind. But this sucker is dull as all get out. So not a big deal. I'm probably not a competent enough sharpener myself to try it. So I get the feeling. I'll send it out to somebody and we'll get it sharpened up. Not a big deal. Next thing is this sucker is expensive. This is in like the $1,600 range ish. So yeah. Next, I kind of miss the Timascus, to be honest. Like, this looks cool, don't get me wrong, but that Azure Timascus on my last one just really popped. And, I kind of miss it. This is a very dull knife. That's all. I mean, color-wise, it's not a dull knife. It's a flashy, douchebaggy knife in dull colors. That's what I mean. But anyway, so on to my conclusions, kind of some thoughts that I've had about the channel and kind of about these custom knives. I kind of have a theme going on that I've been kind of putting together for a while now. My watch is in there too. And so it's just one of those things that's like, I was going for a thing. This is definitely, one of Nick's like fashion blogger kind of aha moments where it stops being about a piece of metal with a sharpened edge that I need to use as a tool, and this became more of like a fashion statement. And so I'm happy in that regard. It's kind of sobering when you really realize like what you're doing, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I don't want to make you or even myself feel bad for accessorizing. Maybe this can, if you do things like this, make us feel a little bit more humbled in light of other people that go crazy buying 200 pairs of shoes or a bunch of purses or all the things that us humans buy and spend our money on. There's not a lot of logic to it once you cross a certain path. We like to rationalize our purchases. We like to pretend that it's for some grand purpose, that our desires don't rise above our robotic needs as just eating and pooping machines. The truth is, there's an artistic side to this. There's an aesthetic side to this. There's something that, if I believed in souls, would speak to the soul. And so if you do this, power to you. I don't want to put you down. After having achieved this, I realize I don't need it that much. I'm going to keep this watch because it's a good watch. This pen is a fine pen. This lighter is a fine lighter. Any pen, lighter, whatever would have worked. I really do like this watch for a lot of other reasons. I have a half an hour review if you haven't watched it. But regardless, I don't need this knife. I wanted the knife. I got the knife. I'm glad I got it. But I think what I've really realized from going through all this is that I like the fidget factor of knives. And what really helped me cement this is my Koenig Arius. And I think a lot of other knife people might be in the same camp as me, that, we don't get a chance to flaunt our knives when we're out in public, depending on where you work or what you do. And it's not even flaunt like in, aha, look at what I have, but just the fidget factor of getting to play with the action of a knife. This, for whatever reason, is just scratching this itch that I've never had before. And then once I've developed a taste for it, I can't feed it enough. And so when I'm just at home where I don't have to worry about what people think or what's scaring somebody or any of that stuff, this is fun to do. As well as the justification of, hey, it's a great slice, it's tall grind, it's perfect size, it's super comfortable, blah, 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 blah. But really, it's a fidget toy for an adult. And I am perfectly okay with kind of having a moment of self-realization, saying to myself, this is what I want, and I don't necessarily need or want this. And not that I can't accessorize with this knife or whatever, but I think this is about as fancy as I want to get from now on. I don't know if that means I'm going to sell this Terra. I do like it a lot, but I do think it means that for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be buying any more crazy customs that creep into that safe queen category. So I don't know if that's going to disappoint you or it's going to reaffirm a better direction for the channel. for some of you that have been watching. But I do want to focus on knives that are either more cost effective. I somewhere probably 1,000 or less is probably the cap I'll kind of put on myself. And, not that I want to only focus on the $800 knives. I like budget stuff, and I'm going to continue to look at those kind of knives for sure. And I want to have a range. I want to have, from $20 up to $1,000, I think is where I want my wheelhouse to be. Not so much just because I think the price is the important factor. I think I could find a $800 knife that meets this criteria more than it meets this criteria, as far as I'm looking for something that is a knife, a cutting tool I can take with me places, but is also some kind of showpiece in some way. The tactile feel, the comfort, and that action is right now what's really giving me my jollies. So I don't know if you have any suggestions on what knife I should look for or what I should look at next. Please drop a comment in the comment section. Also, any knife loans or anything like that you're willing to do, I'm going to thank my couple guys that have been doing that. It's been definitely a help. Financially speaking, that's another reason that I can't just continually get more and more expensive knives. I'm not made of money, but I do want to make sure that I get some content to you guys. I want to keep up with the channel full steam. No looking back. We're getting in the 4-month mark here, and I want to keep trucking forward pretty steadily. So I'm excited about the channel. I'm excited about moving forward. Just want to kind of give you an update on the new knife, but also kind of the new direction of the channel. That's it, everybody. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.